When we look at any statistic, whether it's provided by government or the private sector, we take it for what it is. Many people simply believe it's entirely accurate no matter what. Others are always skeptical. It's hard to judge sometimes. However, there's one statistic that is completely and utterly falsified to make the situation appear better. The US unemployment rate is fake, and here's why. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. Today we're going to look at the unemployment rate. I want to show you what this is, how they break it down. I'm going to show you some alternate statistics. I'm going to get into some more detail about this. We're going to break it all down today. Let's begin by taking a look at the official United States unemployment rate. This has been declining year after year after year, and we've been hearing in the news how the economy has been doing better ever since the financial crisis, and as a result, unemployment has dropped. In fact, today in the United States, it sits at 3.9%, quite low in fact, and they consider this to be full employment, according to their statistics. But when we see unemployment rate, what exactly does that mean? We don't ever hear about it. We just know what they project into the media, and we're hearing today 3.9%. All right, so I'm going to show you a little bit more detail about this. You can see that the unemployment rate is measured by the U3, and I'll show you exactly what the U3 means in just a second. But that right now definitely has been declining over these years. There's no way to deny that. Even the U6 rate has been also declining. And then we have the shadow stats rate, which seems to have been declining as well, but still remaining over 20%. Now, shadow stats, who I'm sure you're familiar with, recalculates all of the different statistics, and they've put their own ideas into what they believe are the most accurate unemployment stats. Now, I don't necessarily even need to believe what shadow stats is doing, but we can take it somewhere in the middle, or take the U6 statistic, which is brought to us by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So let's look at that right now. I'm going to show you everything because you never hear of what it is. You never hear what the U3 statistic is. You don't know what unemployment rate really means. So I'll tell you today. If you go to the actual Bureau of Labor Statistics website, all right, they give you a breakdown from U1 all the way to U6. But what we hear about in the news is the U3. Total unemployed as a percent of the civilian labor force. That's the official unemployment rate. Today, it is sitting at 3.9%. All right, but we also hear about the U6, just not in the mainstream media. Total unemployed plus all persons marginally attached to the labor force, plus total employed part-time for economic reasons. Remember, as a part of the civilian labor force, plus all persons marginally attached to the labor force, that is sitting today at 7.5%. It is quite significant in the terms of the difference. Now, if people are unable to find jobs, and they're just taking whatever they can get. They're just working a part-time job. I need some money, need to make some income. I got some bills, so I'm going to get this job. Well, it's not really paying what they want, and they're desperate. They're going to take it. That's one factor. I'm going to show you something else in just a second here, okay? So when we're looking at this, we need to address how many people are in this situation. Well, you can see the difference between that 3.9 and the 7.5 rate. And again, this is the official government statistics. It's not shadow stats creating that. But I'm going to show you why this doesn't even factor in everybody. Okay, so that's that, right? I think it's so important to really understand. That's what I'm trying to do here, trying to create this and have people really break down what it means, because we see unemployment rate, and to me it doesn't mean anything, because that doesn't factor in how many people are unemployed or underemployed. And what about this? This is amazing. I've been dying to see this chart for the longest time. Finally, I've seen it. Number of multiple job holders. Excellent. I'm so happy that I found this because I've been telling you about this and I've shown you some other statistics, but now we have it in a chart form and I love that. Look at what has happened. Since the financial crisis, we have seen the amount of people holding multiple jobs increasing to a level that was experienced at the peak of the previous recession, the financial crisis, and we saw that just prior to the dot-com boom and bust. So during the financial crisis, everybody was laying off, okay? So we had that. Clearly, you couldn't get jobs, all right? So everybody was worried. Everybody's laying off. Nobody's able to work. But then as soon as they started to print the money and the jobs started to come back, people weren't taking the jobs that they were necessarily qualified for. They were taking anything they can get. Then they're working 2 and 3 and even 4 jobs in some cases. They're doing side gigs. They're doing everything that they can. Why? Because they got to make ends meet, right? That's what people do. So this right here is a massive disruptor to the statistics that we are provided. Yes, that person is that's a job, okay? But number one, a lot of the jobs are temporary. So you get hired and then you get laid off constantly. You're constantly in flux. Just I'm employed today, not employed tomorrow. Then I reapply, I'm back in. And a lot of that is provided by the government, actually. They do a lot of temporary workers, and then they just constantly rehire them. It looks great for the statistics. I'm sure that if you totaled up all of the job creations for, during this period of time since the financial crisis, it wouldn't surprise me if it's in the hundreds of millions of jobs. Like it's just ridiculous because of how skewed the statistics are. They're fake. And I'm showing you here exactly why. I hope you appreciate that. Multiple job holders is a factor. Temporary job holders is a factor. Underemployed is another factor. Okay? If I need my 35 to 40 hours a week in order to make ends meet, and I'm only getting 20, 15, whatever it might be, that's not enough. So I go and I take a second job. I get that second job and I'm getting, let's say, 5 or 10 hours. Okay, so maybe I can make ends meet with those 2 jobs, but look at what it does to the statistic. And what about the other guy who's still unemployed? Well, according to the statistics, it looks like 2 people are unemployed, but it's 2 people are employed, but it's one person, that is employed, 2 jobs that have been created there. So that's the major factors. All right, then we have this real average hourly earnings year over year. This has been declining. I mean, take a look at this. The amount that we're getting today isn't what it used to be. And this is just in the short period of time. That's year over year. Remember that. That's not the total value. But when you look at this on another chart and show what has happened with wages, you basically see this very slow decline that's occurring. Real wages are declining, and you can see this going on not just in the United States. I mean, we are seeing this all over the world, in fact, where people's wages don't keep up. Food prices, energy prices, they're all going up. Wages, not even close. All right? That's the truth. And then last but not least, I wanted to finish off with this. I always talk about it, and I've shown you something similar before. But this is something that needs to be hammered home, and it's a perfect opportunity for me to show you it. The article is from a few years ago, but it's actually completely relevant today, even more so, in fact, out of the New York Times. It's a little sad anyway, but let's take a look. It's talking about these individuals who are, suffering, all right? Most pay their taxes, half are married, nearly half live in the suburbs, none are poor, but many describe themselves as barely scraping by. Down, but not quite out, these Americans form a diverse group sometimes called near poor and sometimes simply overlooked. And a new count suggests that they are far more numerous than previously understood. Right from the Census Bureau, they have their own measurement that they've developed of poverty. And in fact, this shows us that there are an extreme amount of people that are technically not in poverty, but they can't make ends meet. Statistics I've shown you here on the channel before, but make it much worse than we've ever been told. Even though the statistics are provided by the Census Bureau, we're still not being told the truth. All right, so this here shows you the new measurement meant to better count disposable income. It began altering the portrait of the national need. Perhaps the most startling difference between the old measure and the new involves data the government has not yet published, showing 51 million people with incomes less than 50% above the poverty line. That number of Americans is 76% higher than the official account. All told, that places 100 million people, 1 in 3 Americans, either in poverty or in the fretful zone just above it. Think about that for just a moment. 100 million Americans are either in poverty or basically right there. They're one little setback, one little thing, an appliance breaking down, their car breaking down, losing their job, a financial crisis, something happens at the bank, they get injured, a family member is in trouble, one situation away from being below the line. That to me is startling. But the statistics, the garbage U3 statistic, they don't show that. It doesn't show that, and it never will, okay? So when you look at the unemployment rate that I consistently hear about being so wonderful and the economy is doing so well, why is the real situation not being accounted for? The U3 statistic is fake, and we need to ignore it or do what I do. I use it for comic relief. All right, that's all. So I'm going to end it there. If you found this video informative, please give me a thumbs up. I'm trying to educate. I'm trying to help people understand what's really going on. And you can really support this channel, which right now is, at 120,000 subscribers, yet the viewership is down significantly. So all you got to do is give me a thumbs up on all the videos. Comment below anything. Just say hello, just say thanks, just say hi, just say whatever you want to do. That really does help me out. I'll try to reply to everybody as much as I can. So that's something that you can do as well. And that's where I'll finish it off. If you found the video informative, you're going to find my books even more informative. These 2 books are what the financial education that you were missing in schools really didn't bring to you, and it was done on purpose, just like the U3 statistics. So you can get those at the link in the description below. Take care.